MOTORSPORT. Celsius, but it is going to be warming up quickly here this morning, and we're going to be topping out at about 22, 23 degrees Celsius, low 70s Fahrenheit. Should be an outstanding day of competition. I hope you enjoyed the concert last night with the rhythm review, and then later on the skies above Canadian Tire Motorsport Park filled with our Labor Day weekend fireworks display. The CTMP Marketplace, again, will be open throughout the day. All of the various displays, I believe, are open now, including OnStar, SiriusXM, Roy Nichols Motors, Poly Sleep, along with Bethesda House, Overland North, and the Ron Fellows Driving Experience. Also at the Motormaster booth, that is where you can play Plinko to win some great prizes. We're also doing that draw for a $500 gift card to Canadian Tire and a 5-year Canadian Tire Roadside Assistant Gold membership. Again, Canadian Tire sponsoring our shuttle service today. That'll run right up until 6 o'clock. The volunteers with the Rotary Club of Bowmanville manning those golf carts. They'll take you to the various spots here on the racetrack. The shuttle station is at the east end of the paddock. It's well signed. Also, the CTMP merchandise trailer is open. It will be throughout the day for event t-shirts, CTMP swag, including hats, hoodies, mugs, and a whole lot more. Also mention our food trucks that are here. Miller's Meats up in turn number 3. They are going to stay open late this evening, so if you're going to be staying over and not leaving the track until tomorrow morning, Miller's Meats will be open this evening. They will also be open tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. for breakfast. And in turn number 8 in our family camping area, that is where you'll find Cabza and their great menu. They'll be open throughout the day as well. In the CTMP Marketplace, final day for our various food vendors there, including Temptations Food Truck with their gourmet tacos and bowls, Taste of the Men, authentic Greek dishes, including Slovaki poutine, Citrus City for freshly squeezed lemonade, Heavenly Dreams ice cream, their soft serve cones, slushies, sundaes, and more. Kono pizza cones serve hot and delicious pizza a different kind of way, and Yummylicious kettle corn also with us. The Trackside Grill is open. If you're looking for that second cup of coffee, they'll be open up until 4 o'clock today. And as well, this is the final day for our leukemia bottle drive. And the volunteers in those red t-shirts will be going around looking to get your donations of empty beer cans, alcohol, beverage containers, etc. And the leukemia bottle drive will run up until the end of the day. While we've got a moment here, just want to mention the 2 CASC regional auto racing weekends coming up. The Pepsi Late Summer Trophy Races. They'll be here on Saturday and Sunday, September 20 and 21st. That will be the deciding 3 races in the Toyo Tires F1600 Championship. We've got an incredible battle for the title this year in both Class A and the Open Chassis Class B cars. In Class A, the 2 traditional heavyweight teams in that series, Britain West Motorsport and Brian Graham Racing, their drivers in a heated battle for the championship. Celebration of Motorsport will be here on October 4th and 5th. That'll be the final rounds for the CASC regional championships, including the brand new Miata Canada Cup Series that debuted last year. We've got a virtual tie for the championship there between Matt Gauthier and the Owen Clark in the number 36 Team Red Green entry. So if you're looking to get your fill of motor racing, a couple of big regional weekends here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park coming up September 2021, the Pepsi Late Summer Trophy Races featuring the Toyo Tires F1600 Championship and And then the celebration of motorsport, October 4th and 5th, with the Miata Canada Cup, one of the featured classes on that weekend. As we come up here, just about 3 minutes before the cars in the pre-grid, we'll roll out here for our first race of the morning. It'll be the third and final race of the Formula 4 United States Championship. It has been an absolute pleasure and an honor to sit beside this announcer, who is the voice at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, one of the great tracks in the United States. Welcome aboard again, John Pittman. John?
Pat, thanks so much. It's my honor to sit next to you, my friend, and have the chance to watch racing at this magnificent facility. Get a chance to get up here last year for the first time in quite a while. We had these cars here in 2017, where Kyle Kirkwood swept the weekend with the F4 cars, and the late great Jim Martin was sitting in that chair. He was kind enough to take over for me. I had a conflict with my home track at Mid-Ohio and wasn't able to make it, so when I came up here last year, I was just so pleased. You welcomed me with open arms, and I certainly appreciate all of your help calling these great races this weekend. And we've had some dandies. The second race for this class yesterday was just fantastic, and we're looking for more of the same. Unfortunately, we're down one driver, as Clemente Huerta, who had that incident at the end of the race, literally on the final lap, losing control and getting off track at the outside of turn one. The damage to the car was significant, but he was not medically cleared. He was on a 24-hour hold, not medically cleared to race in any event, and the Kiwi crew has really been struggling this weekend. I won't say struggling. They've had lots of success this weekend, but they had some problems with so spare parts need to be a problem. Cars are moving out of the pit lane behind the Corvette that Scott. Let's introduce the starters for you. Making his debut with our series this weekend, he's having a couple of races. Moving forward into row 3, on the outside will be the number 51 of Luke Powers, a 15-year-old. It's our youngest driver out of Fishers, Indiana, for the Tokyo Drive. Car 5, Nolan, a 20-year-old out of Fairview, Texas, one of a couple Texas-based drivers in the field. He races for the Crosslink Motorsports team. In row 2 on the outside would be Clemente Huerta, Florida, sponsored by Anywhere Transport. He also runs for the Crosslink Motorsports team. On the front row, again, these are the drivers that have been fighting for the battles, fighting the battle for the win in all 3 races here this weekend. The number 55 is Alex Popov from Miami, Florida, a third-generation racer. Alex Jr. is a 19-year-old driving for the MLT Motorsports team. His dad, Alex Sr., known well in the sports car ranks down in the United States. And the pole sitter is the phenom of the championship since Mid-Ohio. The number 14 is Cooper Shipman out of Austin, Texas. Cooper racing for the Kiwi Motorsports stable. He has won 6 races in a row. That ties Kyle Kirkwood for the second most all-time. The record for consecutive victories in F4 is held by our first champion in 2016, Cameron Doss. Cameron had 8 in a row at one point, and Cooper Shipman is looking to sweep the weekend here. We'll see if he's able to get that done. The field kind of ganged up on him in yesterday's race, but he kept his cool, kept his tires warm, and was there to pick up the pieces at the end. He won going away. Here comes the field. 7 cars this time. It's a 2x2 rolling start. Cooper Shipman on the pole. Alex Popov next to him. Then Kekai Hawaniel, and now Dimitri Nolan in row 2. And there's the bogey. And we're away. Shipman in the 14 cars. Was able to slot back in. He's still trying to go side by side with Popov. 2. The quick change of direction back to turn 3. Aladillo going a little wide there, giving each other racing room. Popoff in second, going for the lead here as he goes around the outside in Quebec corner. Can't quite make it happen, but now that's opened the door for Aladillo to challenge. These three were part of that battle all race long yesterday, but Shipman has the advantage. Coming into Moss corner, diving down to the inside is Aladillo. Popoff alongside as they exit Moss corner, and right behind them is Luke Powers in that number 51 machine for Tony Driver Development. Under the WeatherTech Bridge they come and onto the Andretti straightaway for the first time. Heading down toward turn number 8. That battle for second is not done. Popoff and Aladillo side by side as they head under the Canadian Tire Bridge into turn 8. The best passing opportunity on the race course. Who's going to get it done? Popoff is able to hang on as they bend it through turn 8 and then plunge down the hill into RQ here in our commentary position. Turn 9 and then 10. The White's corner, which takes them onto the front straightaway. So the order pretty much as they qualified. Shipman, then Popoff, then Aladillo, the top 3.
All of these drivers, some pretty good battles going on a little bit further back. That race for 5th. And running wide there was that 5 car of Dimitri Nolan. Got the 68 of Caleb Campbell, not able to take advantage. But this is a great battle going on for that 5th place position as they run under that Chevrolet Grand Prix bridge and down through turn number 4 and back up into Moss Corner. This one's scheduled for 30 minutes. We work lap number 2. Connor Shipman looking to put together the perfect weekend here. He was fastest in practice on Friday, qualified on the pole, and has gone back-to-back with wins both at the start and the end of yesterday, looking to get out the brooms and sweep all 3 of these F4 United States Championship races. We've got that battle for second between 55 Alex Popoff and the 29 of TK Aladillo.
As with the field making its way to the starting bridge to complete race lap number 2. Again, good battles for second between Popoff and LC Racing as they head down the hill. I want to give a shout out to Oliver Savoy, hanging on strong there in 7th spot, looking for an error-free race here this weekend, and maybe increasing his confidence a bit in his first outing with us in that car. As the cars climb the hill, and that battle between Nolan and Campbell is drawing them up on the back of Luke Powers, the 4th place runner in that black number 51 for the Tony Driver Development Team. So it's a 3-car battle now for 4th position as Nolan and Campbell have closed up on the back of Powers. As the top 3 spread out just a little bit now, about a second separates Shipman from Popoff at the line. Aladillo another 3/4 of a second back in 3rd, and then it's about a 2-second gap to this battle that we're watching. And here comes Dimitri Nolan trying to make the challenge on the 51 of Luke Powers, but not close enough to pull the trigger this time as they head down into turn 10 and onto the front straightaway once again. And Caleb Campbell dives to the inside, puts a nose alongside.
Who has opened up about a second and a half. Here is 68. Caleb Campbell dives in on the inside into turn number 3, but Dimitri Nolan will shut the door. These 3 drivers having a monumental battle for 4th, 5th, 6th. The 51 of Luke Powers, then the 5 of Dimitri Nolan. And again, here comes Campbell late braking up into Moss Corner. He's right up under the rear wing. He'll try to get a good drive coming out of Moss Corner as they exit 5C and head up the Andretti straightaway. He is right there. Caleb Campbell closing on that 5 car of Dimitri Nolan. He is likewise trying to run down Luke Powers And as they crest the hill under the Canadian Tire Bridge, here's the challenge for that fourth place position. The two drivers going side by side through turn number 8 in at 9. And we've got a new fourth place car as that number 5.
Third place finishes. He's finished 5th and 6th on the weekend here at his home track at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. So right now running in that 6th position, hoping to get up to 5th and match his best finish and maybe say something about 4th, but we get a replay of that brave move by Dimitri Nolan around the outside at turn number 8, but he was able to make it stick. He's moved up into that spot. We'll see if Campbell can follow him through as he is harrying the back of the number 51 of Luke Powers. Out in front, Cooper Shipman doing what he does, stretching his advantage up to about a second and a half right now over Alex Popov, the Venezuelan-American, in that number 55 car for MLT Motorsports. Then Kekai Hauanil, another second and a half back. So the top three about equally spaced. And this battle we've been watching is about 5 seconds up the road as Nolan now all by himself as they head down the S's. This is an heroic racetrack, and these drivers just going wheel to wheel with it. But Caleb Campbell, the Cambridge Ontarian, up into 5th spot now.
In that turn 2 area, Luke Powers did run a little wide. That allowed Caleb Campbell to get the drive out of turn number 2, and he was able to make the pass going through turn 3. Here they are out of turn 5B. Big slide there by Campbell, but he continues to run in that 5th place position, followed by the 51 of Luke Powers. We worked lap number 6, and the fastest lap of the race. He just gets faster each lap here. Cooper Shipman, 1 minute 20.982, has opened up 2 seconds on the 55 of Alex Popov. TK Hauanil, car number 20, third.
So basically 4 on-track situations, and so the teams can allocate those tires however they wish. They can change just the left sides or however they wish to do it, change the fronts but not the rears. That's up to the teams to make those decisions. And so when you get to the final race of the weekend, that's where the tire strategy can diverge somewhat, as some drivers will have fresher tires to work with on this final race of the weekend. Others have used them up, and they're on tires that are getting a little long in the tooth, as they say. And so you'll find there'll be some ebb and flow in the pace from some of these drivers, especially in this final race of the weekend. As we get a good shot of Alex Popov in the number 55, the MLT Motorsports machine, as he's running all by himself now, some 2.5 seconds behind the leader Cooper Shipman. Kekai Hauanil is another 2.5 seconds behind Popov. The 68 is not done. It is now the battle for 4th.
I've not mentioned the 88 car of Oliver Savoy, who did back it into the tire walls in turn number 8 early in the race yesterday. And he has come back here running in 7th, a little bit off the pace. His best clocking is a minute 23.865 compared to the minute 20s. Cooper Shipman is running right now, so there's about a 3-second gap. He continues to run in that 7th place position, the driver out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, in one of the Kiwi Motorsport entries.
Oliver Savoy is kind of a great story. His father raced with the owner of Kiwi Motorsport, which is the team he drives for, Tina Larson, the Indy-based driver who raced in MOSPORT, of course, back in the day. And so we headquarters down in Texas, and so they got together. Oliver did some testing. They were impressed with what he did. Said, "Let's go to work up in your home track, up in Canada." And so he came here, basically his first race in this series, and could not have made his debut at a more daunting racetrack. And it caught him out in literally the first lap of the first race yesterday. But then he bounced back and had an eventful race in the second race as well, going a little wide down at the bottom of the hill at turn 2. So I think that's kind of woken him up, and so he's being a little more circumspect in this race, just trying to hit his marks, keep the car on the racetrack, and use this as a learning experience. So good for Oliver, and we hope to see him in the final 2 rounds of racing. Back in second, and then Kike Hawanio, car number 29, is another 2.6 seconds further back. So the front-running 3 drivers stringing out. But this race between the 5 of Dimitri Nolan and the 68 of Caleb Campbell is down to just a couple of car lengths out of turn 5C, and it looked like Dimitri Nolan got those 2 left side wheels up onto the curbing, and I think that is going to affect his drive up the Andretti straightaway, because here comes Caleb Campbell, 68, right up onto the rear wing. We'll see if he makes a move down to the inside. He takes a look on the inside into turn number 8. They go side by side through turn number 8. Series, among others. One of the things that he preaches to these young drivers is have situational awareness, know where your car is, know where the corners of that car are, and give each other racing room. There's no reason for argy-bargy in our racing, as the great Calvin Fish often says in his commentary. And these drivers did a fantastic job of doing just that. So let's see if Dimitri Nolan has an answer for him in the crosslink number 5. As Campbell now up into that 4th spot. We'll see if he can challenge him back. They are well back from the top 3, some 10 seconds behind the 3rd place runner, Kike Hawanio, who, by the way, just set his personal best about a half a second. Final 15 which indicates to me that he's got a little tire left. So let's see if he can make use of those perhaps fresher Hankook slicks and make this a race for that second position. Campbell, then Nolan, with Luke Powers and Oliver Savoy rounding out the 7-car field. Unfortunately, Clemente Huerta unable to join us for this one after that incident at the end of the race yesterday.
Looking at a battle that could be shaping up here for second between Alex Papa, 55, and Kike Hawanio. Hawanio on that previous lap, as you mentioned, John, quicker than the 55 car as they come off at turn number 10. Second. Car on the pit road. Luke Powers is going to drop down into 7th place.
Looks like they're taking some tape out of the radiator inlets. So they're trying to get that car fired and getting back underway. The teams, with the cool temperatures here this weekend, the teams can tape off some of the radiator inlets on the side pods on the side of the car to maximize the engine temperature, the water temperature in these engines. Perhaps we'll see looks like the crew was taking some of that tape off of that car and are going to send him back out. So now Luke Powers running in 7th, so going up to 6th. Motorsports, see how he can make it happen. He started the season with a lot of started on his winning streak, and he has won 6 in a row, and it's certainly looking like he's the favorite to make it 7 in a row here. So we have a good look now at Caleb Campbell. Nolan in the distance there in that orange number 5 for the Crosslink team. But great job for both of our Canadian drivers here as Caleb Campbell and Oliver Savoy. Sorry, my mind just froze up there for a moment. What do they call that, a brain fart? I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I just did. So never mind. Cooper Shipman, though, the man out in front, has get a good look at Caleb Campbell from Cambridge, Ontario.
Working lap number 14, a little over 10 minutes remaining. Cooper Shipman goes That's how he has moved around Alex Popoff to take second spot. He closed it down and got a lap on the we didn't see it on camera, but Kekai Hawanio back up to second now, looking for a finish 1 place better than his best finish of the weekend. He had a third. As I check his lap times, he's lapping faster than the leader. Cooper Shipman is less than 4 seconds up the road. So Kekai Hawanio may be having the benefit of some better tires here on this final race. Let's not put this one in the win column for Cooper Shipman just yet. He's got some challenge from the Floridian Kekai Hawanio, who is the fastest car on the racetrack right now. Indeed, he was in at 1:21.2. The race leader, Cooper Shipman, as he goes through, was 1:22. So almost 0.8 of a second difference there. We'll continue to monitor the gap. Caleb showing a little less than 9 minutes to go. Ever hustling that car through Moss Corner. And of course, this will affect the speed all the way up the Andretti straightaway. It was down to 3.3 seconds. Now the question is, does he have enough time as he chips away at the lead of Cooper Shipman to reel him in and take a run for the win? They work their way in through the top of the S's at turn number 8. Here's Shipman off of turn 10, and then that gap that was 3.3 seconds, we'll see whether or not it's gone up or it's gone down as Alamillo hits the total domination of the F4 United States Championship weekend.
Letting him know that Alamillo is coming as he has picked his pace back up into the high 21s, but Alamillo is running at virtually the same pace on the last lap. Let's see, as we get into the final 7 minutes here, there's still plenty of time for him to catch him. And tip of the hat to Oliver Savoy, just set his personal best at a 1:22.8. Obviously, Oliver getting more and more comfortable with this race car and is improving his lap times every time around. And that's exactly what this series is all about. This is a feeder series. These drivers are learning. These drivers are, many of them coming right out of go-karting into this race series. And so it's an opportunity for them to learn their racecraft, learn what it's all about, to make a downforce race car go fast. And Oliver Savoy has had some tough lessons to do this weekend. Shipman's tires fall on the He was really hustling that race car off of turn number 3 as we look at the 88 of Oliver Savoy, the fastest lap there on lap number 16 for Savoy. In 7, and of course we had the one starter in Clemente Huerta in car number 17 after that big crash as the 88 car was way over the line there in turn number 2. We'll see whether or not there's any kind of a penalty for that. All 4 tires were well over the outside there at the bottom of turn number 2. We're on lap 18, a little over 5 minutes to go. It was 3.059 seconds, and as they go under 5 minutes to go. Shipman now with a 3.2 second lead over Alamillo, who in turn has a 3 second advantage over Alex Popoff, who faded from second back to third. And Oliver Savoy with that little miscue at the bottom of the hill there in turn 2, but he was able to gather it up, and he is some 18 seconds behind Nolan Powers now, is multiple laps down after multiple visits to the pit lane. So that overheating problem, I'm just guessing that was the issue as they took the tape off the radiator. I'm guessing that problem may be terminal for him and he'll not finish this one as he's now being scored for 7th. But he got 13 laps in, which should be enough to score points. That didn't go to 75% of the distance of the monitor in our press room is running right now in the Netherlands. So far, we've not had anybody go that far, but we've had a number of drivers graduate from FR and move into international F3. So could it be could Cooper Shipman be the first driver to move up to FR and then take the next step up to international F3? Who knows? But that's something that we're going to certainly look forward to. That's what this series is all about, as the FIA came up with the concept of this F4 championship back in 2015 as a bridge for drivers coming right out of the road.
There's still, I believe, 4 races to go in this championship. 2 at Virginia International Raceway, 2 at Barber Motorsports Park in October. Win number 7, he could establish a brand new consecutive win record for F4 United States Championship Racing, and run that to as many as 11 wins at the end of this year. But we're really getting ahead of ourselves right now as he works his way off of turn number 9 and into 10. He should be greeted with the white last lap flag out of turn number 10 on the start-finish straightaway, and there it is. Cooper Shipman on his way. Cooper Shipman is on a roll. He has not lost since the 7th round of the season at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Sweeping the weekend there, sweeping the 2 races. For the final time at speed. This young man is a name you're going to want to remember. Cooper Shipman from Austin, Texas, a 17-year-old for the Kiwi Motorsport stable. This gentleman has definitely taken this championship by both hands. He hasn't clinched yet. There's still a mathematical opportunity for at least 2 other drivers to challenge him if the wheels come off his campaign, but they have not come off today as the checkered flag flies for Cooper Shipman. Win number 7 in a row for this next spot, and Oliver Savoy with his best finish of the weekend. The 7th spot. Yeah, he completed 13 laps, more than 50%. As the cars make their way back on around, we welcome those race fans who have just joined us here this morning at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Running of the WeatherTech 200 NASCAR Canada Series race this afternoon at 2 p.m. Coming up next will be the FEL M-Zone Radical Cup Canada Series presented by Michelin, as the championship goes down to the wire between current points leader Kenny Reedman, who was 3rd yesterday, but Brady Clapham, who was 2nd in the championship, won his 6th race of the year and has tightened up that championship battle to go right down to the wire. From what we understand, Kenny Reedman needs to finish 6th or better in order to take the championship. For Brady Clapham, he knows he has to go out there and win his 7th race of the year and hope a number of drivers get in between himself and Kenny Reedman. So the championship will be on the line. That race scheduled to go off here at 10:45 in just a little over 10 minutes from now. Peter Lockhart and David Bradley will be the voices you'll be hearing on our public address system. We also understand that the 26 car here today will be driven by former Radical Cup champion Jonathan Woolridge, so that is a change. Woolridge certainly a driver with the talent and the experience to run up front and maybe even win the race here. So should be an outstanding FEL M-Zone Radical Cup Canada race presented by Michelin. And again, we'll be stepping aside here from the announce booth to allow Peter Lockhart and David Bradley to bring you lap-by-lap coverage of that race that will roll off here in about 10 minutes. Following the M-Zone Radical Cup Canada race, we will have the FR Americas Championship, their 3rd race of the weekend, and then our final event here before the WeatherTech 200 that will take us into the lunch break is the Nissan Sentra Cup. Again, a very close championship as points leader going into the weekend here, finishing 3rd. So that is tightened right up. We'll update you on that situation as we get to the start of what will be the final 40-minute Nissan Sentra Cup race of the weekend. Just a little bit of a public service announcement here. One of our grid marshals yesterday had a white helmet on the pit wall. It has gone missing. So if you have found or know of the whereabouts of the white helmet that belongs to one of our grid marshals, would you please kindly turn it in to the CTFP merchandise trailer. Again, that is a white helmet that was left on the pit wall and disappeared yesterday. If you know of where that helmet is or found it, would you kindly turn it in to the CTFP merchandise trailer beside the trackside grill. Also want to mention the Gilles Villeneuve collection. They are here in the marketplace. This incredible collection of motorsport gear and memorabilia that was debuted at Trois Rivières 3 weekends ago. They do have a booth in the CTFP marketplace. You can check out all of the various items there, but there is a very special MOSPORT item that goes back to 1977 when Gilles Villeneuve made his debut for Ferrari in the Formula One race held here that year. And that photo is depicted on the black t-shirt that is on sale at the Gilles Villeneuve collection booth in the CTFP marketplace. Also want to mention the volunteers with the Rotary Club of Bowmanville. They've been running our shuttles at all of our major weekends this summer. They've got their 2nd annual Oktoberfest coming up on October the 4th at the Newcastle Town Hall. That is Saturday, October the 4th. Tickets are just $35 per person. And doors will open at 6:30. CTFP Marketplace opened at 10 o'clock. It will stay open until the end of the afternoon here in our racing. Also, the trackside grill, if you're looking for that second cup of coffee, the trackside grill will be open until 4. In our family camping area, one of our brand new food trucks, Kabza. They've got delicious homemade burgers, poutine, hot dogs, corn on the cob. They were also serving breakfast here today. They're located over by the Canadian Tire pedestrian bridge on the outside of turn number 8. And of course, a fixture here for many years, Miller's Meats up in turn number 3, just south of that orange portable grandstand. They're still serving those incredible peanut bacon and egg sandwiches, and they are going to stay open late tonight for those who are going to be camping over until Labor Day Monday, and they will be open tomorrow morning starting at 7 a.m. for breakfast. I invite you to check out all of our other food concessions and food trucks in the CTMP marketplace, including Temptations Food Truck for gourmet tacos and bowls, Taste of the Med authentic Greek food, including souvlaki poutine, Citrus City freshly squeezed lemonade, Heavenly Dreams ice cream, Kono pizza cones, and Yummy Licious kettle corn. They are all over there, as well as, of course, the Trackside Grill, and will be open until 4 p.m. In the marketplace, if your mobile phone needs a bit of a recharge, check out the Blue Eye Lounge. Sit back and recharge yourself while your phone gets recharged. And also want to mention Monster Energy. They are giving out plenty of free samples today. You can also try that Monster Energy racing simulator that is in the CTMP marketplace as well. And at the Motormaster booth, you can play Plinko to win prizes, as well as enter to win that $500 Canadian Tire gift card and a 5-year roadside assistance gold membership. And as well, the Canadian Tire Fun Zone for the kids, bounce castles, inflatables, games, and giveaways, and free face painting. And coming up at 11 o'clock, the beer garden will be open, serving up ice cold Carlsberg products here throughout the day. And for Motorsport merchandise, the CTMP merchandise trailer, that is where you can get your event t-shirts along with other CTMP gear, including hats, hoodies, mugs, and more, as well as for those who are NASCAR Canada fans, it is Fast Eddie Speedwear. They've got all of the official NASCAR Canada gear, and as well, we welcome the folks from Wally's Yard Sale. Wally's Yard Sale is here as well. They've got some cool items there as well. So coming up here very shortly, we're going to step aside and allow Dave Bradley and Peter Lockhart to man the headsets and the microphones to bring you coverage of our FEL Enzo Radical Cup Canada Series presented by Michelin. I'm sure we'll see the FEL Enzo Radical Cup Canada cars back here to kick off our 2026 season. They recently announced a $100,000 prize fund, giving out big cash awards to the series drivers in the top 3, as well as in the Masters class. That'll be part of that FEL M-Zone Radical Cup Canada Series presented by Michelin coming up next year. But before that, the championship to be decided over the 40-minute race that'll run from 10:45 until 11:25. Adam Ross and Peter Lockhart here in a minute. We need to have a white Jeep Grand Cherokee license DBW B969.
Before you've heard us, they're out on the racetrack now, the end zone radical cup. I'm Adam Ross with Peter Lockhart. We're going to have a lot of fun with this race. Beautiful looking field of cars. I love the way these race cars look on the track. I love the way they race on the track. This is going to be a great show, Peter. We'll let you get situated with your headset. We'll push that button, and now the world can hear you as soon as you pull that down to your mouth, and we're good to go.
Hey, Adam. Fabulous looking day today. This is, of course, the last race of our 25 series.
Are you too loud or too quiet? Need a little more volume? Less volume. You're one of those. Last race of the year, great car count. A few stories we should mention, and fans, you might want to look at the very back of the field. Let's start with this one so you can you're looking at. Jonathan Woolridge has jumped into the 26 car. He will start tail on the field. If you want to watch some fun racing, I have a feeling it's not going to take very long to get situated and try to make some moves.
Well, Jonathan has been around this track. He's certainly a former champion. He knows his way. He jumped in these cars. As you know, they're all the same, and I'm sure the setup is correct.
We're going to go green right away as they come through turn number 10. Caden Goodrich in the 55. Brady Clapham in the 77. Going to bring us to the green flag. I was just going to say what a Well, we'll talk about championship implications as the day goes on, but what a battle at the front. Caden Goodrich had to fight for that lead from Brady Clapham. Clapham going to settle into the second spot. I almost think these cars shouldn't have numbers. We just need to call the colors. It's great for the fans, right? Numbers can be hard to pick up, especially when they're as small as these are and they're as old as I am. But the colors are brilliant out there as the field straightens out just a little bit down the Mario and Andretti straight away. We've got one field off to the right. I'm not sure if he's trying to break the draft or maybe had a problem with the car, but still up to speed. The 12 is Francesco Esposito. 39 is Daniel Earl. 7 is Tyson Balbosa. 8 is Alex Tagliani. Cedric O'Hagan in the 44. Lang Chu in the 3. Stephen Wistuba in the 99. Hamish Miller in the 41. The 2 is Robert Burgess. 22 is Kenny Reedman coming from the back as well. Jonathan Moore. On it. We got a side-by-side battle into turn number 3. Reedman is making his way quickly towards the front of this one, peeling through the field. Almost up into the top 5. Well, it's where he needs to be for the time being as they streak down. the back straightaway. The top two leaders in lockstep down the back stretch. Clapham going to look to the outside of the straightaway down towards turn number 8. All the way up alongside our race leader. Who's it going to be? Katie Goodrich down low. Will give up the lead to Brady Clapham in turn 8. Such an aggressive number 12. Oh, the cars look planted onto the track today. How challenging is that? How long does it take a driver to know what the conditions are going to be? I mean, one pace lap to get up to speed. Can you feel at that point? You have to be up to speed before you know. And he swings to the outside in that yellow and red number 8. He will make the pass on the 39 of Daniel Earl. Tagliani fun to watch no matter what he's driving. Turn 2 is another indication for us of how hard a driver is driving. If you use up a lot of that runoff, you're pushing hard into the corners. If you're able to keep that car inside of the rumble strips, is it fair to say you're conserving? You're not wanting to push those tires?
Going over, it would suggest that you're actually pushing past the limit of the tire. And it's a long race, so you don't want to have those tires get overheated.
Man, that's a popular move. Swinging to the outside down the backstretch to make the pass into turn 8 as Kenny Reedman picking up another spot as he makes his march towards the front. Top 5 struggling just a little bit. What would be the difference? You know, you win on Saturday, you come out Sunday, although he is out front, is he not?
Well, Clapham certainly knows what he's doing here, and he just wants to get out and go, and he is doing that.
Lost our visuals for the moment, so we'll call it the old-fashioned way. We wait for the cars down into turn number 8, the highest speed corner on the racetrack. Another indicator, we talked about turn 2. Turn 9 is the same. Just all of these drivers trying to keep their cars pinned as close to the left side of the racetrack up through turn number 9 to make that 90-degree corner and turn to 10. entire field up here through 9. We'll see as the race wears on and the temperature of the day picks up. A lot of rubber put down by the Trans Ams yesterday, by the NASCAR Canada Series stock cars, so that can change the characteristics quite a bit of how these cars handle this vast CTND track. And we've got one off. That's the 3. Lang Shu. Oh, sideways across the racetrack. Serious the situation might be, but boy, is it ever nice since the new building on the outside of turn 10. Video to see these cars all the way around the racetrack. And let's reset the field a little bit. Brady Clapham, after that amazing battle with Caden Goodrich, he is your race leader. Francisco Esposito quietly running in the 3rd spot. Alex Tagliani up to 4th in that red and yellow number 8. I have a feeling this restart we're going to see Alex Tagliani get fairly aggressive, get assertive out there and try to get a little better track position.
Well, this is the point where everybody resets. The heart rate comes down, the wheels start going in the brain, figuring out what am I going to do, what can I do to advance. This is a very fast racetrack. The qualifying time here is 1:19. That's a 180-kilometer average lap speed. Average. So many corners here are taking over 100 miles an hour, over 160k. And when you're tooling around behind a pace car like this at a very slow speed, it will take a second to kind of reset back to the high rate of speed racing takes.
I do a lot of short track racing, which couldn't be more different than this type of racing. Might as well be golf. But I know certain veterans, and I don't know it's the same. Goodness for the pavement they've put in certain places, the outside of turn 2, the outside of turn 8. What would be your worst crash here, Peter? Did you have any unfortunate moments?
Over the years, I guess I've had some pretty big crashes, but the ones that have been the biggest where I've been upside down would be at Toronto Indy and also Formula 1 Circuit of Montreal. Some of the endurance races here were really wild. You're doing 24 hours in the dark and the rain and you can't see, and sometimes it's pretty scary. But I've never had a really serious crash at CTMB.
That's a good thing.
It is.
So serious crashes here can leave a lasting impact. Lang Shu still in that 3 car. They're going to get him hooked up and pulled back into the paddock area.
I was saying yesterday that as we look at the track and we see it on TV, being on the track is entirely different. There's so many blind spots around this track. As you come up to corner 2, you have no idea what's on the other side unless you know that it goes left. The same thing happens at corner 4. Up the back straight, there's other blind spots, and there's deceptive very tricky corners like corner 3, where if you go into it too early, you're not coming out because it's a decreasing radius that loops back on itself.
And a lot of fans like to gather between two particular teams for
No, you can't see the apexes, but you have to keep turning and turning until you see it, and then you can visualize and see the exit.
and then right to the outside of the racetrack. You don't keep the car on the inside like you might think is the shortest way around. You let the car drift up to the far left side of the racetrack.
That's correct. And then as you get over to 4 is blind as well, and it's very quick down there. You have to be on the left-hand side to be able to come up that very steep hill into 5A, settle the car for 5B. Again, an incredibly important corner because it leads all the way through corner 8 to corner 9.
I've always meant to ask, when you come through turn 4, which is downhill left-hand turn, can you feel it in your stomach, or does the car stay fairly planted underneath?
It actually wants to it's a bit of off camber, so you have to force yourself to make the car go left. And then when you get down into the bottom of 4, you're right into the heavy braking of 5A, and you can use that hill to slow the car.
Oh, I would imagine. I would use everything. I would use a quiet prayer every time I head into a turn. Everything I can think of to help that car slow down.
There's been some wild crashes at the bottom of 4 over the years. Cars right into the woods. But it's just the speed of this place is so dramatic. I think the fastest cars around here, the record is a 103.9 or 104, and it's 136 miles an hour average. One time it was the fastest circuit. Now I believe it's about the 3rd fastest circuit globally. So that's very, very quick.
Setting up for a restart. Brady Clackham leads the snake off of turn number 10. They'll start to pick up the throttle as they come back to the green flag.
He needs more, I'm sure, to be more comfortable in being in 5th to win this championship.
You know, he won't want to take a lot of chances. He's running behind Alex Tagliani, who is very aggressive. Slight gap over Daniel Earl running in the 6th spot. Earl in that 39 didn't look like he took off quite as well as the rest.
I think in the Masters class, I think Cedric is being very careful. This championship, the Masters, is his to win. I think as long as the race is over 50% and he has not DNF'd, I think he will be the champion.
And what a season it's been. This series doesn't mess around with the tracks and the events it goes to. Toronto Indy, GP3R, those are treacherous places. Treacherous but rewarding and fun and big crowds and big energy, just like CTHB.
Calabogie was great as well, first time there on the short circuit.
Not necessarily true. You told me 1,500 cars had been sold.
That's right, back at GP3R. Well, since GP3R, I've learned that Radical in 28 years has now produced and sold 3,000 cars. The 3,000th car being sold this year.
These cars, 3,000 of them, all out there for, as you said, a lot of people do track days with them and just like the performance of these cars, but I think it bodes very, very well for the future of this series.
The cars have evolved over the years. There's various models. The SR3 is by far the most popular, And that's what these cars are. They're all 1340cc engines. And if you very, very comfortable car to drive, very reliable, very economical, just a great service.
Car from his crash yesterday. O'Hayan has dropped back to the 12th position, but he's right there in that battle as well.
Doesn't take these guys long to get right back on it, does it?
No, it doesn't. Fantastic three-car battle from Cisco Esposito. Alex Tagliani and Kenny Regan behind him. Don't look in your mirrors, Francesco.
Great job. You can see someone of the caliber of Tagliani in your mirrors is disconcerting, I would say.
You have to, at some point you have to have a look and it has to cross your mind and then put it out of your mind and start hitting your marks once again. Brady Clapham not getting away too far from Caden Goodrich. Goodrich running in that second spot. Drop back about behind him. Oh, and we got a battle for that position with Stuba and Painter. I'm sorry, that's O'Hayan, sorry, in the 44 on the outside of turn 3. They had swapped positions and swapped them back somewhere in the first couple of corners. Down into 5A, 5B, get a run down the long back straightaway. Hamish Miller right behind them.
This is a very good workout for these guys. You know, it's the level of concentration and keeping in contact where you have to look when is a huge task at high speed. In any way, shape, or form. He's in a position right where he is, where he will win the championship, and I'm sure that's number one in his mind.
And a simple glance in the mirror, when it's safe to do so, lets him know that there's nothing behind him really putting the pressure on. Understand what's in front of you, that's all in your line of sight. But a quick glance to see there's nothing behind you has to give him a little bit of peace of mind, because he's got a good gap over Daniel Earl, about 2.5 seconds between him and Daniel Earl. But great looking trio of race cars down into turn number 8.
And Daniel Earl isn't really in his class anyway. Daniel's in Masters.
Okay. Daniel's way up front. And it might have just been my reflection on the screen, but it was out the back of the Kenny Reedman 22.
That actually was happening yesterday as well.
Okay, so maybe something out the back of that race car.
What you have is great eyesight.
Oof. Doesn't feel it, but what a beautiful day. Speaking of sight, great day in southern Ontario.
It's almost rare to have 3-4 days like this in a row, you know, at TTMP. It has its own weather pattern.
It certainly does.
Some of the drivers sit on the left, some sit on the right, some sit in the middle. It's a specification
I noticed that when we did our last broadcast, I mentioned that because it looked unique to me. I would think sitting in the center has to feel better.
Well, Alex was telling me the other day, he was wondering whether sitting in the center was in some way, shape, or form impeding airflow into the airbox. And I've since talked that through with some people who understand the technical aspect, and they say no, it really has no bearing on it. Just to know.
That's interesting. Relatively perfect laps.
Well, Michelin tires, they are great. And say enough about them.
Lang Shu and the 3 got back out onto the racetrack, so that's great to see. Something the crew was able to fix.
He's only down 4 laps.
Francisco Esposito in that 12 car has put a bit of a gap between himself and Tagliani, but in fact, possibly closing in on the leaders. Let's have a look. As they go by timing and score.
Proper flow up of 5A into a proper settlement for 5B so they can go up the back straight. It's so important to have that proper shot on the 5B. When cars are this equal, you have to be stress the car. You have to make it flow as much as it possibly can, because that's where you're going to get an advantage.
It magnifies every mistake, and even the most marginal of mistakes. Tagliani closing in on Esposito.
driving the car.
Esposito doing a fine job out there. It looks like Tagliani closes in a little bit through turns 2, 3, 4, down into 5, and then Esposito maybe with a bit of an advantage down the straightaway. Tagliani definitely stopping his runs. Clapham has opened up another half second. Just go through a half second. They'll fight for everything. He is all racer all the time. See if we're as close as we feel that you're starting to make progress. Is like you find that little bit extra. So the Masters class, it's fantastic to have it. It's for drivers over what age?
40.
Your driver over 40. Why is Alex Tagliani not a Masters?
It's you can elect
Okay.
whether you want to be in the Masters or not.
Conversation. I mean, you want to beat all the other Masters, but at the same time, how big a deal would it be for Earl to finish in the top 5? No, a designation, but you know, everyone has goals, quiet goals. We celebrate the winner of these races afterwards. We know the other drivers, even drivers who didn't finish on the podium.
If you're a young karter coming in and you're looking at a career in motorsport, it's all about winning at the top. For a Masters guy who may be just a very talented driver who wants to arrive and drive and compete against other Masters or other people at over 40, that's wonderful too. So the series provides the opportunity to basically have races.
You have to think about who's a Master because you have to call up the guys
Private preference, style that allows the driver to go a little bit quicker than another.
It's a great four-car battle in that Masters class, starting with the painter all over the back end of the 44. O'Hagan has a look to the inside down through turn number 3. Oh, contact! O'Hagan goes around to the 44.
Good save.
An amazing
reset it and get going. He's seems to be working away at it, probably talking with his crew. He's got a flat down.
Did O'Hagan defend that? I would have thought O'Hagan would be all the way to the outside of the track. I think he might have been trying to pinch Painter down a little bit still. Yes, Painter, you have to respect the line of the driver you're racing with.
Well, here's corner 3 again. This is where John had an issue yesterday.
I was surprised to see that. Of this end zone radical cup. Now, O'Hagan, you said, would have locked up the championship by getting to the midway point of this race. We're beyond the midpoint. You don't have communication with the official timing and scoring.
I don't think there's much left. Maybe a lap or two. Looking for a white flag, don't see it.
Yeah, nothing for the flags to area, the paved runoff area. Don't use the grass runoff area. Tagliani's stalking his prey, but Esposito's been doing a great job hitting his marks.
He's offering nothing for tag.
Battle. Tagliani to the inside of Esposito's return.
Probably not over. Looks like we have about 2 minutes to go.
Esposito. Oh, fantastic. Tagliani leads them down through turn number 8 into 9. A little bit of traffic for the leaders ahead. Swing around some slower traffic. Esposito still able to stay in the tighter tracks of Tagliani, maybe 2-3 car lengths gap. But how big a factor is the draft on the straightaway?
Well, in traffic.
Well, it's a matter of getting back to the throttle as quickly as possible, getting that car pointed in a straight line for the long trip down the back stretch for the front. He's such an experienced veteran, knowing what to do. In fact, he probably knew when he wanted to make that pass.
He was probably stalking and waiting.
Brady Clapham brings it off at turn number 10. Checkered flag in the air. Clapham gonna take the win. Goodrich gonna come home in the second spot. Alex Taglioni position over Esposito. Friedmanson holds his championship.
Nice way to end the season.
Sorry to see the contact between Pager and O'Hayan, but O'Hayan can drown some of his sorrows in the championship.
Exactly.
Well, let's head down to Victory Lane and do a podium and enjoy these trials. Where we thought we could celebrate the victory lap. Was darn near a perfect run.
Thank you, Adam, for a fabulous call of a race.
It's just fun.